Hi everybody and welcome back. This is a video about the building up of my Porsche RSR R7. I call her the R7. Some call her the Mary Stewart. And this is the status of the building that I'm making right now. I already made a video where I was showing up how to fit the under part, the underbody. Probably the trickiest part in this type of fitting with donor kits would be about the external shell, because every time that it is about an internal shell, you can always find your way, you can always find the proper manner to keep the proper setup, and here it is still in progress, as you can see. So I just settled in the best way the center of the wheels for the resin parts, and I prepared the body with the silver base color. The silver is I use, as you know, Gunze, both the acrylic and the synthetic range of the Gunze. I think it gives a very, very nice and smooth surface, very easy to work with. I think Gunze are, in my opinion, the best colors to do this type of works. And let's check a little, probably, which is the stuff that you have to do before you arrive to this point. And I basically cleaned up all the body, cleaned up all the lines and so on from some molding excess that you can have during the casting process, and looking pretty good. The shape is absolutely that one. Soon this will be treated with the red dots in front. It was typical for this Martini car to have the red dots, the red bumper, both in the front and in the rear of the car, and then apply all the decal works. Decals that I set here, I have a spare set that I will use together with the Profil 24 set. Why do you use the Profil 24? Before I made, you see, this was a test that I made that was wrong, because they come up in a much bigger scale, so I had the problem that the designer made it after we made the scan of the original Profil 24 set. It made probably with wrong measurements. As you can see, all the shape, that should be the arrow running around the body, that is way bigger. I think is made for a car that is at least in 118, if not 112. I think 118 is probably the scale of this one. So somebody want to do this car in 118, I have the decals, you have to know. But the beginning, we took basically, it was sad because all the parts instead made by him, like this one, like the logos, like the numbers, they were perfectly scaled. It was all the rest. You see, the numbers are scaled, but the band is much bigger. And that's why, because we took in the beginning to study the part, the original sheet from Profil 24. If you want, some people asked me why I made a model that already had been made by Profil 24. With all the respect of Philip work, which I love so much. See, I buy his stuff, so I do. But that was a quite very old model. It was a complete model up and down. It was kind of mold that they made, I think, more than 20 years ago, so I think it was extremely old. I had it in my hands. There is a couple of guys selling them right now, I think, on eBay. The model is extremely old, plus they have that photo etched stuff to fit the frame of the window that I also Arena Modelli do the same stuff, placing the frame in photo etched, and in my opinion is absolutely not worth it, because you have to, even more on curved surface, if you keep on with photo etched set, you have to keep on working with super glue on a painted model. The risk to do a disaster is too high, so from my opinion is not worth it at all, that type of decision. Plus all the model itself is looking, the profile is looking quite old, it's a really old-fashioned build up. So I was thinking that to make it just a simple conversion like this one based on a modern kit like the 934, it could be. And I always suggest, despite I used here a Revel kit, I always suggest to use a Tamiya 934 because it's slightly more expensive. This is model that I took in Amazon for 25 euros, something like that. It's their price. The Tamiya is slightly more pricey. Even more in Europe, you can find around 35 to 40, 50 euros maybe, but as a donor kit is absolutely better under every point of view. And as I said, from Profil I bought the decal set instead of drawing them from zero, with the dimes and all the stuff like we had to do. That was the dime for the kind of mustache that had behind here the Mary Stewart R7, but I took the original Profile 24, that was a little bit pricey, you know. I sell my decal sheet, is not that one. My decal sheet is a complete decal sheet in 124 for both the car, so both the number 46 and number 8, I think. Number 6, I think, for the Nordschleife race driven by Herbert Muller. And I keep an original decal sheet from Profit that was deadly pricey, you know. I think I paid for this one with expedition and so on something like 36 or 37 euros just for the decal sheet, and it is just referred to the 47 car, you know. They made two decal, the one with the 47 and the other decal that was featuring this type of livery, you know. It was another one with the yellow dots in front and in the back is always the RSR. This was referred, this sheet is I think the one from Scale Production, referred to the R5 Targa Florio that I will also do, you know, but it is quite easy, you know. It's an ordinary body with no modification, so it's without all the different of the Mary Stewart air work on the tail of the car. So I will use this one and changing the numbers basically, you know. I think in our sheet the Martini colors are slightly more precise than that, as you probably can. I hope that with the camera you can see, you know, but this a little brighter the red, a little brighter the blue in my Martini stripes. Is anyway a decent set, you know. Usually if they are not old, so we will discover it during the building of this model, because I will use these stripes for mine, at least the two side stripes for mine, you know. My original one is slightly different. Maybe I have it one here. This was a set that I should sell to a Spanish guy, that then he felt ashamed to fix a little issue with the model. People buy racing kit and then you are unable to fix a racing dot in the model. Why do you buy a racing kit? Just my consideration. Made a long travel between Italy, Spain and Sweden. And so this is my set instead. As you can see, there is the different dot, there is all the numbers, there is a little more options, but indeed, as you can see, the dimension of the stripes, I always kept them a little more longer in the final end, because I never trust, I hope you can see from here, I never trust the dimension provided in profile kits. I think that every time they are a little bit smaller, you know. Usually the body was referred to a 125 scale, so it's slightly smaller, 10%. So I made it a little longer on this part, but it's much better if it is longer than if it is shorter, because then you can absolutely cut here, so you will have the same identical position. Here you can see much better what I mean for colors. That is my Martini colors, I think absolutely spotted, and that's the Martini from the profile. Few stuff, you know, as well as I keep separated the logo from Porsche in front, because some of them have bigger, some of them didn't have. This was the arrow with the cutted side and the different schema of the colors inside. This was a larger one with the corners arriving on, as for per the replica that recently have been sold in Bonhams. So this is my set, you know. I sell it also separated for nearly the same price. I think I sell it for 35 euros. Paid that one 37. So okay, I will not talk bad about anybody else here. Okay, I give up. And let's see then what is one of the main difficulties that probably you may find during the building up of this model. Hold on a little, to make a little ordnung, like the wife say in Swedish. Make ordnung in my corner here. So this is a bunch of spare parts. It's basically the remaining part of the donor revel kit, you know. I assembled for transport purposes, all the parts coming from the original revel kit, instead of carrying with me over planes the folder, the big folder with inside all the parts and so on. So I saved just the part that I need, and those are the wheels that have been cleaned, you know. I chose someone with little dots inside, but this is quite easy to fit with a little resin powder and a little super glue, fixing everything like a putty. And inside the wheel is quite clean right now. Then it will be a little bit polished even more, and I had the valve and the weights inside. You know, the wheels are always one of the nicest part that I want in my models. And as you can see, I hope the camera now stand up a little bit better. And as you can see, the fitting is nearly perfect on the rear wheel arch. You know, it's typical for the configuration of this type of cars. And then of course you can game a little on the depth of the car, always looking the picture of the real vehicle, you know, because sometimes these vehicles never had the wheels coming outside nicely like the replicas of the car that they are shown today in 2025, but they are a little bit more inside, and so the look is not so nice and aggressive like it could be because they were pure racers, you know. And just wanted to show you how I fixed the issue with front windshield. I took a couple of them, so here it is. So some people asked me how to fit in the proper way. I take also the back one to show you up how to do it. So here it is, and here it is. In the original Revel kit that I took, the rear frame, despite it was a little off size, you know, it was a damaged frame. As you can see here, there is a damaged set there. So you can really not use this set here because it's broken. Hope you can see there you see that is broken there, so there is no way to use it, as well as another scratch on the back. You cannot use this set, you know. But what you can do is to use the front one. So Revel basically did a front frame windshield including the corniche on the windshield, you know, to make it simpler probably to apply on the model. It's a little bit tricky because of course you have to paint it before, you have to create a mask on this corniche that is not present in this part because this is the Revel part that have been sanded off. So basically what did I do? I basically sanded off completely all the side that is a little coming up, you know, is a kind of line coming up all over the corniche, so you have to carefully sand it up. You can use a blade for this type of work, and then take the proper measurements inside it, and that's it, you know. It's also a kind of structure that is quite easy to fix because usually I place it inside with dots of super glue that give stability and structure also to the A pillar that is always a little bit soft in this type of models, you know. It's soft, but the resin is also quite elastic, so it is not something that you touch it will be broken at once, so it's quite easy to do this type of job. And of course you can regulate when the model is complete from the inside. You do this job when the model is complete from the inside, you see, placing hope you can see because to maneuver with two hands and the camera is not so easy for me. There it is, the correct position, there it is. So it's enough that you simply place dots of glue in the corners, for example, where it can be hidden, and it will be sealed in position, so you don't have anything to be worried about. And I think is absolutely precise for the, now I'm moving with the finger, but you understand what I mean. The same for the rear frame. As I said, I could not use the original frame from the Revel kit because this body was not made with the Revel, was made after a Tamiya. So if you have of course a donor from Tamiya, it's even better, but I don't like to use with donor from Tamiya because they are a specific version, and this 76 car was 76, I don't remember. It was slightly different, you know, in the body shell. So as you can see, this was fitting quite well also. But if you don't want to go for it, and as I said, I could not because I have to see what happens if I hide the braking that I have in this part. Remember that this was a model that I bought like a used one from Amazon, so don't buy used model because it's really not worth it unless you really don't need it to go absolutely cheaper. But it's much more easy to make it with this type of acetate. Is very very thin. It's coming from the box of the jackets, you know, transparent boxes, and is extremely easy to work with. And as you can see, the shape is nearly perfect for this purpose. You see, it goes exactly in the position, is extremely transparent, features perfect the stuff. The same way you can do the same for the side windows. I still didn't make them, but they are quite easy because it's constantly the same time. I think I have thousands of them somewhere because I already prepared for the other models that I made for every kind of 911 have this type of side windows that are always in the same position. As you can see, probably different from the model that I sell, I had to tweak it away some minor detail that I will rebuild during the final passages of the building of the model, like for example the side frame for the deflector here on the side window here, as well as I sanded away. That was something that I could also avoid to place in the model. In my racing cars there is two dots here, that is the dots for the oil and for the main fuel tanker that is under the bonnet in the racer, you know, is never on this side position of the 911 like the ordinary street car have, you know, they have it here, then arriving here for purposes much more comfortable to have. I think it was on this side, I suspect, yes. Yes, it was on this side. You usually tank the car from this position in those type of 911, you know. Instead in the racer it is under the front bonnet, so I air sanded it away just to make it simpler to apply the decal, and then I will apply another photo etch set over that, so probably it's better to remove them. I had them in my kit, but that is no purpose for it. So I sanded away also that side of the deflector, and nothing else, I think. Nothing else. The model is absolutely coming up absolutely nicely, so as soon as I close this video I will use the red and let it dry properly for the second step. So this will be a kind of step-by-step of the modeling. I think I will make a couple, 2 or 3 videos about the building up of this beautiful Porsche. That's it guys, hope you like it, and see you in the next.